I'm going to talk from my perspective, okay? I'm not a school principal, thank God, because I wouldn't know what to do. And I cannot tell a school principal what to do, much less a minister of education, much less a teacher, you see? But I would say that my theory does give you a perspective on how to think about that question. And to me, the way I formulate that is a transition from a curriculum-based view of education, whether it's problem-based, whatever technique you use to impart that curriculum, you are still imparting a curriculum, which is a bit of an industrial view. Here is the stuff. Knowledge has stuff, right? And we're going to make sure that this knowledge has stuff, has made it into the mind of the student. And we have a very good, very rigorous way of testing and claiming to the parents, yes, parent, your child has acquired our curriculum, or your child has failed to acquire our curriculum, right? What I'm saying is that because the 21st century is characterized by that shift of the burden of knowledgeability from simply the community. See, if you lived in a small village in the 15th century, a lot of your identity was defined by the community, right? So the burden of identity was very much on the community. I think there's a shift in the burden of identity to the person because we travel so much and no single community is fully defining who we are, you know. So we need to start moving from simply the notion of a curriculum to the notion of identity. And you see, it is not saying to a kid, what do you feel like doing today? It is more saying, what's the discipline of identity in a world of multiple definitions of knowledgeability? So I'm saying we need to move from the notion of knowledge as something we give to kids to knowledgeability as a state of the being that we need to invite our kids into gaining some rigor about negotiating. So it doesn't mean that there is no curriculum, but like I was in Norway at the School of Education giving a workshop, and I said, and they were telling me, yeah, but you know, our curriculum is a way to tell kids what it is to be Norwegian. We have translated Norwegianness into this curriculum, and I say, you need this curriculum to be Norwegian. And I think, okay, that's fine. There may be some things that all Norwegian kids need to know. But I was saying, which school of education is then researching the question of what's the minimum curriculum that we have to impose on everybody, you know, and then focus on identity. And when I say focus on identity, it's not just individualizing education, you see, that's not just what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is helping our children with the real learning problem of the 21st century, which is defining, constructing, negotiating a state of knowledgeability. And that's, to me, the important shift in thinking that needs to happen. And I can tell you, as a theorist, I with great certainty that this is the shift that needs to happen, even though I cannot really tell the practitioners what that shift will look like in their practice.